Today in my studio is Dylan from TruGrit Marketing. Dylan has a very specific niche, and I will let him introduce himself.
Yeah, my name's Dylan. I live out in Chilliwack, so away from the Vancouver city area. My background is landscape construction, and I fell into this entrepreneurial role of capturing construction and skilled trades with a camera. I'm excited to share a little bit about my journey and what I'm doing with my life right now. So
Videography for construction. How did you fall in it?
yeah. So when I moved to British Columbia, I started hiking because I had never seen mountains before. I bought a camera, started hiking, started taking photos of the landscape. And from there, it kind of went from photos of landscape to photos of people, then to weddings. Of course, you have to dabble in that a little bit. And then that wasn't really my jam. I did a few weddings, a few photos, like photo shoots for weddings, and then dabbled a little bit in the videography side of things for weddings, but just really wasn't my style. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm a blue collar guy. So in construction, there's a huge need for sharing the purpose and advocating for construction, and helping construction companies build their brands online. Guys and girls enter in the construction industry because they love working with their hands, and they don't necessarily have the tools or the know-how on how to effectively market themselves so that they can get more work, so that they can attract top talent to their companies. So that's where I'm coming in alongside construction companies and helping them develop who they are, because everyone has a brand, but they just haven't communicated it yet. So if I can come in and help them communicate that effectively, and then start sharing that through their website, through photos and videos on their social media platforms, and start sharing their story. If you are investing in building your brand online, you're able to stand out from everyone else, because especially in the construction industry, not many people have done this. So if you get on the train early, you're able to build a positive brand for yourself through the branding and marketing. Yeah, stand out from the crowd. And I should mention that there's a difference between branding, and marketing. So brand is, you don't actually own your brand. Other people own your brand. It's the gut feeling, or the experience and the interactions that they have with you, that is in their mind. That is what your brand means to them. So you don't actually own your brand, but branding and marketing is how you shape that perception of who you want to be. So with your branding, that will be your logo and the colors that you use, and the type of interactions that you have and experiences that you want to give to your clients and your customers and people that you interact with. And then your marketing is how you communicate that branding. So how do you push it out, whether that be social media, your website, brochures at trade shows, in person at networking events. That's the marketing side of things. So that's where the work happens. So branding is not just a logo. It's so much more than that. And in construction, if you put the effort in to working on your brand, your branding, and your marketing, you can have such an impact in building your own company, but also having an impact in attracting people and being able to have an impact on your team if you care to develop them into something better than who they are. So there's so much opportunity with marketing, and it's just getting started in the construction industry. I think it's starting to catch up a little bit, but there's still a long ways to go. And with advocating for the trades, we really need to push on this marketing and the brand of construction.
Oh, you're touching all the right buttons. There's such a shortage in the construction industry. 700,000 people will be retiring in the next 10 years in Canada. And companies who are not online, who don't have a brand, will be left behind, unfortunately. So this is a great niche, Dylan. I'm seeing two careers that kind of led to this
Mm-hmm.
role that you're in right now. So you've mentioned that you have a trades background as well as a bit of a marketing background. So maybe let's touch on both. How did they meet? How did you get started in the trades, and then how did your passion for marketing and videography developed?
Yeah. So I mean, going back to my trades, I mean, I went to school like any other person, graduated grade 12, and I was never really encouraged to go into the trades. I was always encouraged to go to university to be a teacher. I was a C grade average student. I enjoyed learning, but I was not super academic. And so after grade 12, I went to university for 3 months to actually get the grades that I needed to actually get into a university course. After 3 months of university, like I finished that course, I was like, I can't do this for another 4 years. I'm out. So I found a job, and from there, I had the opportunity to get an apprenticeship. So I went into landscape construction, which is a super cool trade. There's so much diversity within landscaping and landscape construction. And I don't want to necessarily put down the other trades, because they're skilled trades like electricians, plumbers, all that kind of stuff, which you need to know a lot of things for. You need to be highly educated to do those things. But with landscaping, it's way more diverse. With landscape construction, you're able to do drainage, so a little bit of plumbing. You're able to do a bit of electrical with low voltage lighting. You're able to use machinery in like excavators, skid steers. You're able to do some heavy lifting work, which is like building the hardscapes, the base, putting in the base work, building block walls, concrete walls, natural stone. And then also you have your softscaping part of the landscape, which is the planting, the garden beds, the grass, all that sort of thing. So within landscaping, it's like within one job, each day is different. And that's what makes, I believe, landscape construction so unique. If you are wondering what you would like to do, I would encourage any person to try landscaping, because there's just a whole wide variety of things within that you can try before you jump into one thing, whether it be just electrical or just plumbing or just HVAC or just one thing. Landscaping is not just digging dirt in the ditch. It's so much more than that. And when you're working, I worked with private residential landscaping with a company. I was a foreman there for a number of years. And when you go into a backyard that just looks like garbage, and you tear everything out and you build something beautiful, it's so satisfying to see the rewards of your hard work. So I would encourage anyone to go into landscaping. And honestly, you don't necessarily, like, it's good to learn the basics and to go to school for landscape construction. But I've got a buddy who still works at the company, and he's now moving up into a project manager position this year. He never went to school for landscape construction. He was a foreman making $40 an hour. He went straight from school into working at the landscaping company. And there's so much opportunity out there for growth in a career in landscaping. If the company really wants to scale and grow, there are opportunities within the company. So you don't necessarily need to go to school for it, which is pretty cool. And he's got a house here in British Columbia, which is pretty impressive. So he's bought a house, he's got a wife, kid, another one on the way. And that to me is a success story for, you don't need to go to university to be successful, whatever you deem as success. But you don't need to go to school to be successful. You can just work hard, be open-minded to learning, and just put your head down and work. So that's kind of my landscaping background. With the marketing thing, I haven't gone to school for marketing. I read books. I was very intrigued by people that I followed on LinkedIn who are definitely more marketing experts than I am, and I've learned from them. I've read their books. Yeah, marketing is something that you can go to school for, but if you don't have the industry knowledge and the things to put it into practice, it's just head knowledge, and which is good, but if you don't put it into practice, it doesn't really mean anything. So marketing specifically for construction is a lot different than marketing for a bakery or the local nail salon. So you just need to understand the niche that you're getting into, I think. And it's more beneficial for the industry to have people that understand the industry and are specifically working with the industry and companies in that industry, so they truly understand what the needs are of the industry and what the needs are of those companies, rather than just being like a one size fits all marketing company that will do construction, that will do a little bit of a bakery or nail salon or hairdresser or whatever. So that's where we are trying to stand out at TruGrit Marketing. Is we are specifically for construction. We're from construction. We are involved in construction, like we're part of the ICBA and the VRCA. So we're up to date on what construction is going through, what the industry is struggling with. So if we have our finger on that pulse, we can communicate with our clients and communicate to people, hey, this is what's happening. I think this is the way that we should go. And specifically in construction, video is becoming very prominent. We know that 80% of website traffic in the next couple of years is going to be video. So if you're not present online, if you're not showcasing who you are, you're going to rapidly fall away, and people aren't going to know who you are. So that's kind of like the marketing side of things. But then with the attracting people to your company, because we know that we have a workforce problem, we've got so much. We have a lot of projects in the pipeline that need to get built and maintained, in hospitals and roads and arenas, all these kind of things that we all need, but no one necessarily thinks about the people that are building it. So we need to make sure that we get into the schools. We need to make sure that we talk to the parents and say, hey, construction is not what it used to be. Like, the culture of construction is not what it used to be. It's definitely improved. And as a parent, you shouldn't be scared about sending your kid into a construction site, because there's so much opportunity there. If your kid is bright and is humble and works hard, that kid could go a lot of places, and in a very positive working environment. The industry knows that they have to change, and it takes time, and it is happening. So I really do believe the parents need to be educated more so than anyone else. But making sure that we're getting into the schools, make sure that we're talking to the parents, and make sure that we're sharing the industry and great companies through the video and through their marketing. So yeah.
100%. And you are a true example, Dylan, that hands-on learning can be as successful. And again, define success. Is it going to college? Is it getting masters? Is it becoming a doctor? Or is it just making money and be happy with what you do? And in my experience, skilled trades folks, they do like seeing the results of what they do. Your example of, so thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, people in the trades, they have a great sense of pride in the work that they do. And if you were ever to jump into a vehicle with someone who has worked in the trades and you drive around town, they will point to every building that they worked on, and they have so much pride because they were part of that building and they're making an impact on their local communities. That's another thing with construction. You're able to make a huge impact on your local communities, and you're able to give back and support the place that you grow up in. Yeah. Construction people I love the blue collar world. It's so cool.
Same here. Same here. Well, you working with so many different companies and being in the construction industry, what do you feel is important for someone who wants to join this industry? You've mentioned, being humble, being ready to learn. What kind of qualities a person need to have to be successful and grow?
Mm. Yeah, if you want to be successful and grow in the construction industry, and you don't have any experience, like whether that be you're coming straight out of high school, or maybe you've been in a different career and you want to get into the industry, be confident and humble. Learn to be attentive to what is happening on the job site. Don't be afraid to go up to a job site office and say, hey, I want to talk to someone. Don't be intimidating, because a lot of guys in construction can be intimidating. They can look hard and gruff and all that kind of stuff, but deep down they're all pretty soft people. So if you're humble enough to say, hey, I want a job, I want to try this out, don't be afraid to do that, firstly. And then when you are given the opportunity to work, make sure that you ask questions. Make sure that you're always active. Don't stand around. If you're watching someone do the work and you stand by them and you ask questions and be interested in what they're doing, that's not a problem, because you're learning. That's totally different from just standing back with your hands in your pockets and watching. Always try to be doing something. Show that initiative, that you want to work, that you want to go places. And I think that really all starts back at home. If you're in an environment at home where you're just, you're sitting around, you're a little bit lazy, that sort of mentality and attitude is not gonna fly in the construction industry. So make sure that you have a good attitude and you're ready to work hard, and be willing to take feedback. And you need a little bit of a thicker skin in the construction industry. It's not always pleasant feedback, but just always have an open ear and just be gracious. And one of the things that I like to focus on, one of our core values in our company, is drop the ego. So we all have a bit of ego and pride in us. If we put that to rest and just be open to hearing what people have to say, those are some of the attributes and qualities that you need to get into the industry. But don't be afraid. Don't be timid. Be willing and eager to learn. Yeah.
Now let's touch on the marketing side. Who can be successful in marketing? Is it for everyone? Or does it require a specific personality, a specific, eye for things?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I honestly don't. I mean, I'm not going to call myself an expert marketer because I'm not. I just I just see that there are some problems within the industry that need to get rectified. And so if you are able to, as an entrepreneur, see a problem and fill that gap and solve that problem, then people will kind of perk up and see what you're doing. So in order to be a marketer, I mean, I don't really have an answer for that. I just read books. I studied. I follow people who are way better at marketing than I am and who have a great amount of knowledge about the whole subject. Right now, I mean, marketing for us is taking pictures and videos and helping companies get their story out there. In the marketing world, I mean, I'm still trying to find my way. I mean, I didn't go to school for it. I'm just finding a need and a niche and trying to fill that role. And to be honest, I would prefer to build and scale my company so that I get people who are way better at their jobs than I am. And if I can just lead them effectively and make sure that we provide a really top quality product and high value for our clients, I'm happy. I mean, I can take photos and videos, but there are creatives out there who are way better at it than I am. And I would love to have them join the team so that they can do really good at what they do. And then I can go out and continue to build relationships and share more of the brand of what we're doing and advocate for the trades. And if there was a marketing person or a website person who wanted to join our team and say, yeah, I'm passionate about creating good websites that communicate what this company does and that they're looking for top talent and we can really share their story effectively through their website. That's awesome. Right now, I'm just a one-man show. Right now I do the videos and the photography and stuff, and I sub out some of that work and I sub out some of the website work. So right now I'm just figuring stuff out. I'm in that very beginning, early stages of the entrepreneur stage. But as we grow and continue to get our name out there, hopefully the goal is to build a company and really get out there, really get out into the trades and showcase how awesome this industry is.
What is the favorite part of this job for you?
I love going on site. I love going on site and talking to people. If I could go on site and talk to people each and every day and just hear and just listen to them. I love interviews, like the interview side of things where I get to learn about people and I get to ask questions that sometimes they haven't even really thought about. And then they come to a self-discovery of what they're really passionate about. That for me is the most fun part of the job. Coming back to the office and sitting down and doing emails and editing, it's like I can do it, but it's not where I find a lot of fulfillment. If I could be out there, talking with people, encouraging them, sharing what they do with other people, sharing their stories, I mean, that's pretty cool. That's something that I love doing.
Is that how you collect your stories for the companies? Just getting in the truck, getting on site and talking to people? Or what's the process? What's the creative process of, working with a company?
Yeah. So like for this past week, for example, Monday, I was on a shoot, went to, we're working with a client and they have a project. So I'll jump in the truck, I'll go there and we're building out their social media content. So we'll go to their site, we'll sit down, I'll interview two people on site, whether that be the foreman and someone else. Then we'll run around and go through like what job they're completing or whatever division they're in. We go through the process of, hey, we're doing this, then we're doing this, then we're doing this. And we just capture that in video and we put it on top of the interview that we shot. So yeah, it was a hydrovac facility. It's actually a really unique, it's like one of the first of its kind in British Columbia, where they take all the excess waste from the hydrovac trucks and they recycle it all and wash it so that they get the sand, they get the rock, and then they get the water, and then they get this slurry stuff, like the end product. and they're trying to find ways to make sure that they are environmentally friendly. They recycle all their water, so and something like that. Like not a lot of people know about that, so we're able to capture that, put it all together in a video. And then the next day, I was out for another construction site. They're building out their website, and they want some finished project photos on their website and some videos. So we'll go there. We'll do more of like architectural photos, I guess, just capturing the building and the project and how it looks. So it's nice for their website. And then the day after, we did a tree, like an arborist division from a landscaping company. So we get the tree climber, and he's climbing up the tree, and you just video the process of how he hooks everything up, and how he slings the rope into the tree, pulls it through, safety stuff that surrounds that, and then how he climbs up the tree and starts pruning it. So there's just capturing the whole process and being able to share that with people who may not even know or understand that is actually a job. So it's just capturing that and putting it out.
Do you find that businesses are struggling to find good people?
It depends. There are some companies out there who have built a great reputation, and they actually will do a lot of hiring via referrals with their own employees. So they treat their employees really well, and they create a really good working environment, and they have a great culture, and they've got a lot of opportunities within that company to grow. There are companies like that which don't necessarily struggle with finding good people. Like they get resumes coming in all the time. And they're able to sift through that and find good people that actually match their core values, match their culture, and are a good fit. There are other companies out there who, they say they have a problem finding good people, but we often find that correlates with the culture that is there, or a lack of branding, marketing, getting the name out there. So the construction industry has a big footprint, but it's a pretty close community. People know. Pretty much everyone knows each other to a certain extent, like all the bigger companies. And I'm talking more about like GCs and the big commercial contractors in that space. Pretty much everyone knows each other. So the smaller guys, I don't know too much, like the home service people. I mean, they're always looking for work too. It's a bit of a different market in the home service world. So yeah, the people that care about their people, and the people that understand that building a brand is good, and that it will work for them, those people don't necessarily have a problem finding good people. But other people who don't invest in the branding and the marketing and people development, they'll have a harder time for sure. So.
And it's not just in the construction industry. I see this across the board.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, in this day and age, you must be online if you want to be seen, if you want to put your message out. If you're not online, you hardly exist.
That's right. Yep, that's very true.
As a business owner and entrepreneur, Dylan, how do you build your day? How do you keep track of what needs to be done? What kind of tools and strategies you use to keep yourself accountable?
That's a great question. I'm still figuring all that out. I'm in an interesting situation. So I have my office here at home, and I have 4 kids now. I just had twins, and then I have a 3-year-old, 3.5-year-old, and a 2-year-old. In the mornings, I make sure that I try to get up at the same time, and then I'll start the day with myself, do some devotions, read the Bible. And then my son will probably be up at that time, although he's sleeping in lately, which is super nice. So
lucky.
Yeah, so that's been good. Yeah, that's how I start the day. It's always good. Like when I start the day right, it always sets the tempo for the rest of the day. And then it totally depends. Like my schedule is it's so not defined. I could be doing shoots, I could be having a couple meetings, I could be doing editing work. So if I find myself the most productive when I have shoots and edits to work through, because I know exactly what I have to do. As someone who doesn't really have a marketing background and doesn't really know how to scale a marketing agency or marketing company, it's, to be honest with you, I don't know what I'm doing some days, and I'm not sure what the next step is. So it can be a little frustrating at times because there's so many different facets of it. Like there's the website stuff, and then there's brand, and then there's the video and photo. Right now, I focus most of my stuff on the photo and video because I can do that. But yeah, it's a matter of building systems and processes, and I haven't done that yet. That is something that I personally struggle with. So it's not easy. I mean, there are some days that I feel very productive, and other days I feel like I did nothing. So
we're all human.
Yeah, that's kind of that's the open, honest, raw truth.
Hey, if you told me something else, I wouldn't believe you. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah,
We're kind of all in this in a similar position. You can't have a perfect day every day, and it's a journey.
yeah,
And what I find, Dylan, is sometimes not having the experience is the best thing that can happen to you because you're not limited to industry standards and limitations, and you just do your own thing and you invent it as you go.
yeah, yeah. That's pretty much. Yeah, I'm just figuring it out as I go, really, and it's kind of a it's not really a strategic growth plan right now. It's kind of just shoot from the hip. I would love to become more strategic and find someone who is able to, maybe come alongside or come on board and has the opportunity or the ability to create those systems and processes. But yeah, we'll get there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Is there anything that we haven't talked about that you would like to mention?
Good question. I think just something that I want to reiterate is the parents, like with skilled trades and with construction, is we need to get to the parents. The parents often, I think the mentality or the idea is still there that construction is the same as it was 50 years ago when our parents were younger and they were entering the industry, whatever that industry may have been in. They always remember the construction industry to be rough and tough and not a healthy environment to work in. Things have changed a lot, and if you are steering your child away from the industry, I think that's really unfortunate. I mean, I had it myself. I was working with my crew, and there was a lady and her son walked by. I think it was their son, and she said, "Look, son, that's what happens when you don't do well in school. You end up landscaping or you end up in the trades." Idea and that mentality is so derogatory in the first place. Like it's not very upbuilding. And it's also very short sighted. If we want to have roads, if we want to have hospitals, if we want to have sports arenas and places where we can go to concerts, and if we want to have the infrastructure to support the next generation, to support your kids, you need to encourage your kids to go into construction, or else it's not going to be there, or else this infrastructure is going to fail. It already is in some places. It's not sustainable to steer your child away from the trades. And even if your child is academically smart, I went to school with a guy, and he was a math whiz. Like you throw any equation at him, he could figure it out no problem very quickly. He went to university. He was encouraged to go to university because he was smart. He was academic. Be a math teacher or a professor, whatever. He went to university, didn't like it, and now he's a mechanic. And that story to me says so much about the career pathways and opportunities. Like you don't need to be academic to get in the trades, but we also do need academic people in the trades as well. And like the whole part of the construction industry, there's engineers, there's architects, there's designers, there's people that we do need who are very smart and very good at what they do. And even if there's a guy that's a mechanic that's working on your vehicle, we all have vehicles that need to get worked on. So, and he's very good at what he does. So don't necessarily shut down the trades because your child is academic. Let them explore those opportunities. If that like that's one thing that I would just love to leave with people is don't shut down that opportunity. Don't shut that door to them just because they're academic. There is so much potential and so much opportunity in the trades for people that are academic and people that want to work with their hands. It's a industry that can take everyone right now.
I couldn't have said it better, Dylan. Such a great message. Construction industry is not what it used to be, and we do need to amplify the message that there's just so much opportunity. As someone who may be interested in this career, what kind of opportunities are out there? You've mentioned few different kind of positions within the construction, but what are you seeing? What
Mm.
is the growth potential for someone who's just starting out?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of guys that I'm talking to in the civil space, they're really looking for estimators. They can't find estimators anywhere. So a career path for that would be get into the field, understand and learn the process of how everything works. If you're working in civil, you're opening up a road, you're replacing pipe in the ground. So the machines that are being used, the like excavators, skid steers, whatever machine is being used on site. There's things like You need to find out the amount of aggregate material that you need, the asphalt to finish the project, the pipes that go in the ground, the people that are working on that project. So if you want to get into an estimating position, you obviously need to be good with numbers, but you also need to go on site first and understand the process. So again, be humble and hungry, be willing to learn. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. Get into that position where you are able to learn everything that is going on with the job, and you work your way up into an estimating position with that company. There's a lot of potential there, and you get paid a really good salary because you are highly needed. Like you're highly sought after. So there's that pathway that you can go to be an estimator. There is the pathway that you can stay out in the field. You can start as a laborer. Like I've talked to guys, they started as a laborer and they've worked their way up to site foreman or site supervisor, and they've gone through that whole process over the period of 10, 15 years. Nowadays, if you're really hungry, you could do that in a very short period of time. It doesn't need to take 15 years. It can be a lot shorter than that, and you could be managing people. And that's one last thing that I should probably touch on as well is people development and leadership. If you are going into the industry and you want to stand apart from everyone else, learn about leadership and learn about how to communicate effectively, because guys in the trades and girls in the trades, we all go to school to learn the technical side of things, how to build, but we are never taught in school or in college the soft skills of communication, how to care for people, how to check in with people, how to have good conversations, conflict resolution. All of these things are so important on a job site. On a job site, it's like working with a team of people. And if you don't have that communication back and forth, there can be a lot of brokenness and a lot of mishaps and culture breakdown. So I would encourage, and when I was in the field, I never knew any of this. I was just the day-to-day employee going like the foreman. I learned so much after the fact when I started reading books about leadership, when I started investing time into going to conferences that were leadership focused. It just opened my eyes to a whole new world where I could have been way more effective for my boss. I could have made the company more money. I could have developed and mentored people underneath me. Like if I was the foreman, I had a lead hand and a couple laborers underneath me. I could have developed them to be better versions of themselves and help them work up in the company. But I just didn't know that. I didn't have that knowledge. So please educate yourself on leadership and soft skills and communication. If you are able to do that, again, you will stand out from 90% of people. So if you're in school right now, start learning about leadership, start learning about communication, and that will propel you in any industry to move past just this bar that's been set. You can jump over that no problem. If you learn those skills, it's just incredible.
Do you have a website, LinkedIn, I don't know, Instagram? Where do people can see you the most?
Yeah. LinkedIn is a huge platform for myself. I've built a decent personal brand on there, and that's something that is super important as well. Another thing, that's probably another tip I would encourage people to go to is go to LinkedIn and start building a personal brand. Start sharing who you are, what you do, share personal experiences, share wins, share losses. People love that, and it also is a way to bridge the gap of who you are. If you are vulnerable and you're willing to share online, people become more personable, and so people are able to build a relationship with you even before they meet you in person. So, and a perception of you as well. So LinkedIn, Instagram, we're fairly active on Instagram. I wouldn't say like super active, but you can find us on Instagram. We also have a website, www.trugrit.ca. And I mean, you can email me as well. But yeah, those are the kind of three platforms that we're on: website, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And we're on Facebook too, but we haven't really pushed into that. There's so many things, so many outlets that you can market on, but you need to focus on the ones that are actually bringing you in traction and the money, obviously, for business side of things. So,
well, here speaks the true marketing professional. You can't do it all.
You can't. It's not effective, and it is. If you're a business and you're trying to do it all, you're wasting your money. Just find the funnels that are working for you and invest your time and money into those. The rest, it's just all wasted money. So make sure you focus on one or two. Yeah.
As a skilled trades advocate myself, I'm so happy that people like you exist, Dylan. you're doing such an important work. Because yes, there's a huge gap between the opportunity and people who are willing to go into the industry. I'm so happy you're highlighting the companies that are doing a good job, doing those projects and developing their people and making sure that British Columbia is being built.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you so much for all your work. I really appreciate you joining me today. And anyone who's interested in learning more about TruGrit and what Dylan does, I'll include links in the show notes.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.